Welcome to Cliburn Kids. I'm Buddy Bray. I'm your host for Cliburn Kids, and as always, we come to you from the Steinway Piano Gallery in downtown Fort Worth. But there's a twist to this episode because there's not going to be as much piano in it, even though there are pianos all around us. We have an instrument that you've not seen yet that we're going to talk about today, and we have a new friend to introduce you to. Also, welcome to Bridget Kibbey.
Thank you for having me, Buddy.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Tell us what this instrument is that you brought with you today.
This is the concert harp that was developed the very end of the 1800s, so quite a long time ago, about 140 years ago, to be honest. Yes.
Got a lot of strings on it.
It's a lot of strings. It's kind of like when you look and peer inside the piano and you were to go whah across those strings, but someone just picked that inside of the piano up and put it on its side.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because on a piano we do have all those strings, but we also have a mechanism which causes hammers to come up and hit those strings, and that's how the sound is made. That's why we have keys and everything. So I don't see any hammers or keys here. How do you make sound come out of
Buddy, I'm so glad you asked that because the reason I love playing the harp so much is the fact that I get to use my fingertips directly on the strings to make the sound. And I can decide how I want to pluck the strings, whether I want it to be gentle or fierce or happy or sad, all these different styles, just directly with the hands.
I want to ask you how old you were when the harp came into your life.
Sure.
Did you play other instruments before the harp? Or?
Yes, when I was 3 years old, I started the piano, and then I was attending a little country church in the middle of cornfields in Ohio, where I'm from. And I was 9 at the time, and I saw the harp up front, and it was gold. And of course, it sounded wonderful, but I just saw this woman with her hair, and the sound of the strumming, it was just the whole package. My jaw hit the floor. My dad noticed, and he said to me, you know, I feel like it would be a good transition to go from piano to harp. And he was right, and as soon as I took my first lesson, I was hooked, and I never looked back. And now I'm years old, and I've been playing for a long time, Buddy, a long time.
So these on the bottom of the harp here. Now we have some of those on the piano. We have 3 pedals, and they do different things, and we've covered that elsewhere in other episodes of Cliburn Kids. But you have a lot more pedals. You have 4 more than I do.
Yes, there are 7 pedals. And what's so exciting about this mechanism that was developed in the late 1800s in France is that each pedal, there's a C pedal, a D pedal, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, every note of the scale correlating, there's a pedal. So basically this pedal you see here is attached to some pedal rods that are hidden by this lovely little column here that attach to these little guys at the top of the harp. Now, the short end of the answer is that basically it controls the pitch of the strings and the sound of the strings. So you'll hear how the string gets shorter and higher in pitch. Playing the same string, 3 different sounds. And that's all because of the feet and all because of the pedal action on the harp.
You're going to play a whole piece for us, and I want to know what's it about? What's this kind of about? Why do you like it so much?
Well, I have to say, you created the perfect segue for us, Buddy, because this piece showcases the feet. The feet are very busy kind of shifting and being like little spiders down there to get different sounds on the harp. This piece was written by a very special friend of mine named Paquito de Rivera, who was born in Cuba and actually immigrated to the US. And I am so thankful, and to New York, where I'm from, I live in New York City, that I have met these amazing musicians that moved to New York from other countries, bringing their native folk cultures with them and are adapting them to the concert harp. And so this is the first piece he wrote for the concert harp that's kind of bringing the flavors that he grew up with. Now, he loves Cuban tango. Okay, tango was very popular in the 1950s in Cuba. And so he grew up, he's a little older, grew up listening to that. And so he was like, what would a tango sound like on the harp? And I think it's pretty soulful and sultry.
Can you demonstrate just a little bit for us before you play the whole thing?
Sure. So I think the tango is a dance, okay? It's a really fun dance. And I'm sure you've seen a lovely lady with a rose in her teeth dancing the tango. This is what we're doing. With any dance form, you have a bass line that sets the groove. So you can move and groove. And here it is. That's pretty cool, right? But what's exciting is that while my left hand is doing that, my right hand is doing something very different, okay? It's playing a melody.
to listen for your left hand, dum, 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 because the whole time your right hand was doing that very fancy, complicated thing, I still could hear what your left hand was doing. So I think that's a good thing for you to listen for while Bridget is playing this, is for that bass line. What else happens in this that we can listen for?
The piece that I think is really exciting, so the main part, you hear that bass line, and then there's a real departure, and you're like, what's going on? Someone's taking a solo in the middle of the dance floor, the groove is gone, it's just exciting, and you just hear... And see those feet going crazy? So you hear these slides, and maybe the dancer is kind of moving their arms in a certain direction, and so it kind of evokes the dance and the freestyle nature of the dance before getting back to that bass line. And so I think those two things are always playing against each other. You have the bass line, and then you have this freedom of expression on top of it.
Awesome. Tell us what the title is.
Oh, it's called Bantonio, which is an instrument used to an accompanying tango, the dance form.
Great. All right, so here is a wonderful piece for harp, solo harp, called Bantonio by the Cuban-American composer Paquito de Rivera, our friend Bridget Kibbey on the harp. Hope you enjoy it. That's Bantonio by Paquito de Rivera, and you heard our new friend Bridget Kibbey playing the harp for you. What did it feel like to play it?
It is so fun to play this piece of music. I mean, I feel like I'm dancing. I do feel like I'm dancing at the harp when I'm playing this piece of music. So fun.
Do you often have fun when you're playing the harp?
I almost always have fun when I'm playing the harp.
It takes a lot of practice to get there, right?
It's worth the work.
It's worth the work. Good place to end. I'm Buddy Bray. Thanks so much for watching Cliburn Kids. There are tons more episodes on our website, cliburn.org/kids. Lots of activities to go along with those episodes. We'll see you again soon.